Hello, good morning, and welcome to FB Live. I am Sai Vabre, Director of Tech Wisdom Forum. Uh, Today, we are coming up with our third webinar on very trending and hot topic in the telecommunication industry. But before proceed to our subject, our webinar, I would like to introduce you about our venture Tech Wisdom Forum. Friends, there are millions of MSMEs units spread all over India who are contributing to the GDP and value addition in manufacturing field. To upgrade their skill levels and to improve their efficiency, we should impart a necessary knowledge and information to them in the language which they understand best, and that is their mother tongue. Same is the story with the students of manufacturing, or sorry, students of engineering. They can learn basic concepts effectively and easily understand if they are presented, if they are taught in their own language. And yes, exactly, we have identified this need and have come up with the solution by way of Take Wisdom Forum. Take Wisdom Forum is a Section 8 company, no profit, no loss basis, which formed to build the knowledge platform for mechanical engineering fraternity, which will cater to all the need of getting knowledge and information in Indian languages. Basically, Tech Wisdom Forum provides a technical content in text as well as audiovisual formats in 6 languages, mainly Marathi, Hindi, Kannada, Gujarati, Tamil, and English. All the content we are bringing on the digital platform by way of web portal named yantrikividya.com. On this web portal, you will find training videos, expert talks, write-ups about the technical developments in all the 6 languages, as I have told you earlier. For the students of mechanical engineering, we are giving write-ups about the basic concepts relevant to their syllabus, relevant to their studies in their own language. For more details, I would request to everybody, please do visit our web portal www.yantrikividya.com. Now, I would request to our director Deepak Devdhar sir to introduce the subject and the guest. Thank you so much. Over to Deepak sir.
Thanks, Sai, and very good morning to all viewers and listeners. Here we are, like we did our earlier webinars, which were very knowledge and information focused, and we got very good feedbacks from our reviewers about conducting such kind of webinars. So in that same line, we are now today have come up with the webinar on the very live subject, which is in news, which is on TV, which is on social media. Everybody it is talking about it, and it is supposed to be impacting our future life and current life also. Yes, we are talking about 5G, which is a new platform where we are now just India has entered on that platform, and it is said that our communication and media and industry everywhere it is going to affect. But as a common man, as a common working person, we really don't know what exactly the animal is. What is 5G? We heard about 4G, we heard about 3G. Earlier it was 1G, 2G. So all Gs are around us, but we don't know which G is and what G we are really has to pursue and what this new 5G is going to impact us. And to give that knowledge and information of this very vital topic, we have an eminent personality with us. Is Colonel Ravindra Bhate, retired from Indian Army. He is alumnus of NDA. He has served 21 years in Indian Army, and there only he was selected by Army to do MTech at IIT Chennai in telecommunication. He has been class 1 instructor of Military College of Telecommunication Engineering, MAU, and he is an experienced telecom professional with 35 years of operational expertise in telecom industry and has held various prestigious positions in various corporates like Arcom, Nokia. He was national head of Pan India Vodafone operations before he decided to pursue profession as visiting faculty at Symbiosis in a MBA courses in a SDN, network security, and cloud computing. So his vast experience in this telecommunication field is now open to us. He is very gladly uh, accepted our request to share his knowledge, and now here is with us. So we'll start our dialogue with him with the basic first question. Okay, sir, we would like to know what exactly the 5G is. Let's start with this. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. And at the outset, I would like to thank you, Deepak and his team, for giving me opportunity to share my experience, live experience of my past 35 years and bring it to you in the language which you understand. A telecom is a very, very technical field, but technology dictates the market and we have no option but to adapt whatever comes our way. And to that extent, I think this is a very good initiative by Tech Wisdom to bring forward various technologies which are being used in day-to-day life by a common man. And naturally, the inquisitiveness about the same keeps on growing. So thanks for the introduction. And now I will take it forward. And let's start with our seminar subject, that is, what is 5G? Okay, so this is the topic. The fifth generation system is the what 5G is all about. And we will try and in the next half an hour or 40 minutes, we'll have a brief introduction to what is 5G. Now the G in 5G stands for the generation. We have all been using mobile since 1996 when mobile was first introduced in India. And we have come a long way thereafter. But in a nutshell, 5G technology is nothing else but the fifth generation mobile network. When we are talking about fifth generation mobile network or fifth generation wireless system, but a logical conclusion that we already traversed through 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G. So they were all the earlier versions or earlier generations of the wireless network. Now this fifth 5 generation or 5G is nothing else but a wireless web. We all know WWW, that is World Wide Web. But 5G is going to bring this World Wide Web in wireless form, okay, at your doorstep or at your mobile. So that is the major, I would say, impact this particular technology will have. And it is going to work. We will see subsequently what are its characteristics and what are its applications and how it is going to impact our life. But just to make a mention that this is going to be a total, I would say, life-changing technology which has come into existence. And we are ready as an India to adopt this technology in our day-to-day working. So if you see classically, 5G generation mobile network is the new global wireless standard. Everything works on a standard. In technology, nothing works without a standard. So 5G is one standard which has been adopted by 3GPP, which is the global standardization organization for rolling out the 5G network all across the network. So what is that that means? So it basically will enable us to connect virtually everyone, everything, including our machines, objects, and devices. Till now we knew that with mobile we can connect to any man, we can call him, we can SMS him, we can do a video calling. So that was only from personal communication point of view or for your personal benefit. But with 5G, you need not be communicating with the only humans, but the machines will communicate with each other, the devices will communicate with each other, and so on and so forth. So only sky is the limit. You have to just stretch your imagination. Wherever you require a communication, 5G will be able to deliver that. So this basically 5G technology is going to deliver higher multi-Gbps, that is gigabits per second, peak data speed, ultra low latency, more reliability, massive network capacity, increased availability, and a more uniform user experience to more users, higher performance and improved efficiency, empower new user experience, and connect new industries. A note to underline here is the ultra low latency. What is the latency? Latency is the time taken by your signal to travel from the sender to the recipient and back to you. So we all are using today Wi-Fi, or we are using mobile 4G, and we all know how to do the speed test. So in the speed test, we basically see how much download speed is there, how much is the upload speed, as well as we know what is the latency. So today what we are working is, we are working in the latency of say 50 milliseconds. Now you may say, what is the millisecond? Millisecond is 1000th part of a second. Okay. So that is in a layman's language, 1 upon 1000 is a millisecond. So, but here we will achieve a low latency of less than 20 milliseconds. And the ultimate aim is to achieve the latency of 1 millisecond. Okay. So we will see in detail now what are the various characteristics and what are the various components, or what is the frequency band, and all these questions which may be bothering you ever since you have read the news of 4G or 5G auction of a spectrum and all those things which in the newspaper and in the news. So this is basically, I would say, the path which we have traveled starting from 1980 onwards, where we started with first generation, then second generation, and today we are in the era of 2022, that is the next coming decade, will be totally, I would say, dominated by our 5G technology. And the advantage is we are going to have whatever bandwidth you have today, you will have 1000 times better bandwidth. Now what you will ask me, what is the bandwidth? You know, when we walk on a small path, it is a track. It has got a width of 1 feet. When you go on a scooter, you will require a 3 feet path. When you go in a car, you require a 10-feet road. When you go on a highway, you require a two-lane road. So like that, as the length or as the width of the road increases, higher and higher capacity vehicles or heavy traffic starts flowing. So this is the analogy you can straightaway apply for the bandwidth. So when you have a higher bandwidth, what it means that today the higher bandwidth will be available to you. That is, the expressway will be available to you at your doorstep. So any high load bearing traffic, whether it is high definition TV, whether it is your 3D video, you name the thing which requires tremendous amount of bandwidth and high quality will be now available to you. How it is made possible? Because we are now, if you see the frequency of usage, we are going to operate right up to 300 gigahertz. Till now, we have been operating only up to 6 gigahertz. Now again, gigahertz is nothing else. Let's not get bogged down with these hi-fi terms. Gigahertz is nothing else but the unit of measurement of a frequency. We all know the frequency. We all are using every day the AC electricity in our home, which works at 50 hertz. That means the signal varies from positive to negative 50 times in a second. Here we are talking about gigahertz. Giga means there are 9 zeros ahead of 10. So that is the amount of frequency. So let's not get unnecessary into the too much of technicalities, but this is basically a higher frequency, which basically tells us that we are going to have a higher data rates, because as the frequency goes high, your data rate also goes high, your bandwidth also goes high, and all the applications which require higher bandwidths will require a good amount of data speeds. Okay. And the technology, if you see the way it has advanced, it's uh, now being shown here as www. Now, this is not a mistake. This is not a typo that we have typed an extra W. We all know what is the World Wide Web. But here, whenever we talk of internet today, either you have a fiber at home, or you have a BSNL line at home, or you have a coaxial cable from Hathway, and that is how the internet comes to you. But what 5G is going to make available is going to make this internet available to you wirelessly. So whatever quality of service you are getting over optical fiber, the same quality will be made available to you over the wireless. And that's why this WW4Ws is the hallmark, I would say, as far as the 5G is concerned. So let's move further. Having seen the, I would say, the comparison between various generations. Now, these are the various, I would say, timelines of evolution. We've started from smaller, big handsets, which we could use to hit somebody as a protection device also. Then we have come to a smartphones, which are very light. They can fit in your back pocket of your jeans without I would say, obliterating your shapes and sizes. But the point is that we have got now the 5G phones, which are smartphones, and they are going to be available, or they are already available. Even today, your 4G phones, many of the 4G phones, to name a few, even your iPhone 13 or your Samsung Galaxy S21, or even your OnePlus 9 Pro, all these are 5G enabled phones. So before I move on to 5G, the main technologies, I think Sai or Deepak, they want to ask me some questions. Yeah. Unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, you detail it in technical ways, but and everybody in this world, me, Deepak sir, all other people, as a layman, we don't know how this 5G is different from 4G, 3G, 2G. So can you please explain in very simple language, not in terms of technical things?
Okay. In simple language, if I have to tell you the difference, like in 4G, whatever we are using, we will continue to use the same thing, but with higher data speed.
Okay.
If you are downloading a movie, it was taking 1 hour time. You will download the same movie in 5G in matter of seconds or a minute. So that is what the 5G is all about in a layman's term.
Right.
Higher data rate, higher bandwidth is the difference which 5G is making over 4G.
Correct.
Is it okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is okay. Yeah. I think,
Deepak.
please, Deepak sir, you can ask next question.
Yeah, I think now you can continue on further more details in comparison of various modes what we're using, and more specifics about 5G.
Okay, fine. So if we going slightly into the detail, and the question which our friends Sai and Deepak asked me, that what is making this 5G so powerful? If we are using the same things as we are doing in 4G, what is it making so powerful? So let's understand one by one. So basically, there are 5 main technologies in 5G. And they are as shown over here. That is the millimeter wave, your small cells, massive multiple input, multiple output, that is MIMO, beam forming, and what is the last?
It's full duplex.
Yeah, it is a full duplex communication. So let's see what is this millimeter wave. To understand that, we have to see what is the frequency spectrum. So what you see here is okay. So currently, as I told you, what Sai asked, we have been using the frequency spectrum from 3 kilohertz to 6 gigahertz for various applications like your TV, your mobile, or your 4G, or your Wi-Fi. The frequency spectrum add of 6 gigahertz right up to visible range. That is what you see here is, we all know that light is made up of 7 colors. So that is a visible range. Then comes your X-ray. Okay, so this is, everything is a frequency spectrum. It's a game is of spectrum.
Right.
Fine. Now this spectrum is basically being used when we are using 4G for variety of applications as shown over here. But what has happened today is that world is expanding so fast. Everybody wants everything at a click of the mouse. Okay. And as a result, we are feeling congestion up to the 6 gigahertz. So what 3GPP did, that they have formed a standard whereby device manufacturers and operators can use this empty band. And as a result, we'll find now that whatever was being used up to 6 gigahertz is now getting used right up to 300 gigahertz. Okay. So this is the first major technology. And which technology is being used in this is the millimetric wave radio. Okay. Your 5G basically has got 3 bands. One we call it as a low band, which uses below 1 gigahertz frequencies. Then is the medium band, which uses up to 6 gigahertz. And then is the millimetric wave, which uses up to 300 gigahertz. If you want to know the specific, we can do, but those technical details are not required at this stage.
Yeah.
Okay. But when we talk of millimetric wave, now we will say, why small cells? So what is a cell? Cell is the area which is covered by one transmitter to provide the coverage. We have multiple towers today. When you walk across the city or drive across the city, you will find so many towers and antennas. Now why so many antennas? Why not only one antenna for your city? Because the range is limited. So you require a cellular coverage. As you move from one cell to another cell, you require your call to be handed over without you knowing it. Okay. But when we use millimetric wave, then there is a principle in physics that as the frequency goes higher, it faces various problems. And the first problem is it gets reflected from the hard surfaces like buildings, or it may get absorbed by the water vapors, by the clouds, or by the trees. So whatever signal is coming to your mobile, it is going to be faced with so much of obstruction.
Right.
And so if this is the case, then how do we get around it? And that is where we have a solution of. So this is what will happen basically. That's what I said. That if you don't have any obstacle, which is a very ideal case, which we can't live in ideal scenario. For theory purpose, it is fine. But actually we will have interspersed with lot of buildings and lot of trees, and your signal is going to get attenuated very fast. So to avoid this, we are going to have small cells. So what we do? We will have small cells placed in such a manner that they will circumvent the obstacle and will reach the mobile. Like if you see here, earlier the wave were going, the signal was going in all direction. But over here, it is going through the smaller cells. And each smaller cell ensures that the signal gets firstly received, it gets boosted, and it gets transmitted to the mobile. Okay, so that is where the small cell technology, after millimetric wave, the next logical followed is a small cell. Okay. Now coming to this particular new technology of beam forming, let me take back to your existing antenna. The existing 4G antenna has basically got 12 elements. Okay, because the frequency range is different, you require a lesser number of elements. But when we go to your 5G, that is where multiple input and multiple output, because your signal, as we seen in the previous slide, is going through number of small cells, and your movement is going to be happening from one small cell to another small cell to another small cell. So this all is happening transparent to the user. You don't know, but the technology is monitoring your signal strength. It is monitoring what is the best path for your mobile. Because when so many antennas in your massive MIMO system transmit, you know the scenario is going to be looking like this. That means you will have multiple transmissions and receptions. How will mobile know which one to pick up? But that you don't have to worry. The technology which is being used is the beam forming. That means knowing where the particular user is, the particular signal will be directed. If you see so many colors, that means so many beams. This is only a representative purpose, but number of users will be tens and thousands. So all those users will have a directed beams only to them. Okay, so this is the beam forming technology which is going to be used in such a way that let there be any amount of interference, let there be any amount of obstacles, but the fast processing of this 5G system will ensure that you get your signal uninterrupted and without any obstruction. Okay.
Right.
So that brings us to this particular, I would say, scenario where we are trying to depict the complete frequency usage, that is from 3 to 3 gigahertz to 30 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. which is shown at the bottom, for various type of applications. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, that there are going to be 3 bands: low band, medium band, and higher band. Now, is it for the user to choose? No. User doesn't have to do anything. Everything is happening transparent to the user. Depending on your requirement, depending on your type of application that you are using, you will automatically allocated that particular band of frequency. Okay, so this is the particular thing. Any questions, Deepak?
Yeah, I think we have understood fairly well about the technology and how this magic thing operates. It is very well explained. But my question comes from this to my mind is fundamentally why it is. What are the basic purposes or objective of this technology, and why talking about this, please elaborate about the features of this technology which will enable to serve those objectives.
Okay, fine, got it. Thank you. So let's move on to the question specific. Now, as I told you, this is the main objective of the 5G, as asked by you.
Yeah.
That we have this technology. What is the objective? The objective is basically to have a high quality of signal. That is QoS. We all are today in the era where the quality matters. Forget about our road quality that we can't do anything about, rather than negotiating and improving our driving skills.
Absolutely.
But over here, we have an application by way of 5G, which is going to make our life much easier. So this technology has got a first objective to give you a quality of service rate. Okay, for all your applications, whichever you are using in 4G, you will get the same plus many more applications, which we will see subsequently. Okay, but the first objective is to have a quality of service. And the technological advances, your hardware enhancements, all these things are basically going to ensure that you get this particular quality of service. Similarly, you have a flexible bandwidth. Now it is like, if you are using a single scooter, do you require a highway? Obviously not. So are you going to occupy the whole highway because you have got this? So no. So we will have a dedicated lanes. If you are using a cycle, go on this lane. If you are using a scooter, go on this two-wheeler lane. If you are using a car, then this part. So based on your requirement and your requirement of your width of your vehicle, and here our vehicles are your applications. So depending on your application, if you are using a voice, now today voice is not taken as a signal at all, because voice requires such a low bandwidth that it is going over your data only. Okay. But when you want an email download, or when you want to do your ATM operations, the requirement of bandwidth is very less. So depending on what type of application, I just mentioned a few where to make you understand the requirement of a bandwidth. But this bandwidth is going to be now flexible. Again, do you have to choose it as a user? No. Moment you start using a particular service, that much amount of bandwidth will be available to you. So objective is to have a flexible bandwidth. So all these objectives are interrelated. By having a flexible bandwidth, we are ensuring that our quality of service remains the top class. Okay. Then we have a data rates. Now again, does everybody read 1 gigabits per second? Even today with 4G, At places you will find you are going to get 1 gigabits per second. But for some other applications, we can go right up to 10 gigabits per second. Okay, that means 10 times the existing rate. So that is the objective, that you will get fiber optic quality, fiber optic rate over the wireless. That is another object, to put it simply. Whatever you are getting today on fiber net or fiber optics, okay, fiber to home, I think you all know FTTH, fiber to home, that is the internet. So you will get the same bandwidth over the wireless media. And it increases the spectral efficiency. Spectral efficiency, again, it contributes to the quality of service, because you pump in more and more data bits per hertz, you will get a higher quality. Now to see this, so these are in nutshell the various, I would say, wireless technology features of 5G, which basically can be summarized as high resolution for crazes. Like some people are constantly watching movies in their spare time. You see a guard today sitting outside your building. Whole day he is not going to do guarding of the gate. So in the meantime, he is watching all the TV channels which are available through Jio Cinema or any other application, or your Airtel, whatever communication channels or TVs are there, high definition TV are available to you on your mobile. But with 5G, that experience is going to be much better. You will get high definition TV on your mobiles. Okay, enhanced and available connectivity. Now, to make you understand this point, the availability is communication doesn't get interrupted. The technology has been designed in such a fashion that if everything is ideal conditions, the technology will ensure that your outage or downtime of your connectivity will only be 25 seconds in a month, which is hardly any. Okay, so that is the, but as I told you, that the environment is such that your buildings, your road construction, anything can happen. A bulldozer today comes and snaps the cable, a power cable, your communication may get disrupted. So don't account that under the 5G outage. But 5G technology as per se will have a very, very high availability, high reliability. It will have a tremendous amount of upload and download speeds. Okay, picking up to 1 gigabits per second, or may go right up to 10 gigabits per second. Okay, so this is what, and minimum 25 megabits per second is always assured. Fine. So how it is made possible? Because we are using a very ultra wideband network with higher bandwidth at low energy levels. Now, just to tell you in a nutshell, as we have seen, as the frequency goes higher, the frequency, lesser is the distance and lesser is the power requirement. I will repeat again. Higher the frequency, lesser is the distance travel, and lesser is the power requirement. You require more power to transmit for a longer distance. But here, the frequency is so high, which is going to get attenuated very fast, which is going to be traveling at a very few meters distance. Okay. So a same signal, the 5G technology will ensure that when it has to travel at a longer distance, it will transmit that signal on a low band. On a low band, you get a higher distance. Then it comes to middle band. And when it enters the building, when you don't want your privacy to be disturbed, it will switch over to your highest band. So as a result, your security is ensured by default, because your signal is not going to penetrate through the walls and nobody is going to do any eavesdropping onto your signal. Okay, so that is the advantage. Yeah. You had some question, Deepak?
We have gone in the quite details of technology. In between, I just want to interrupt for two things. One is I would like to appeal the audience to put their questions in the chat box. So at the end of the session, we can take up with you. That is one thing. And the second, now since we are now understood the objective, the features, I think now we should focus, or you should we would love to learn about its major application and advantages of using this technology. And
Yeah, I
if you
know.
can
I know.
give
It's easy
some
to
examples
correlate. It's easy to correlate my.
linked with that, that would be better.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
it's easy to correlate with what we are doing with the application. Also,
yeah,
my next topic is going to be on applications only, and you rightly brought it out.
great.
So let's switch over to the applications. Now, one has to understand that today, whatever you are able to do with the internet, we are able to do with the, or we will be able to do with our 5G. Okay. Now, what is that? We have seen all these advantages and everything. I will not repeat on this. So let's straight away jump onto the applications. Now, these applications, if you can see, that one can know weather, temperature, location. Now, it's a very, very vague statement. How 5G technology is going to be used? It is going to be used for flood control. It is going to give you advance warning of any cyclones or any natural calamity. It will be available to your farmers in advance, to the fishermen. Okay, because 5G, though we say it's going to be everywhere, currently it is limited to only cities. But with low band application of the 5G, even your rural area will get covered, and they will get all this weather and forecast or any natural calamity advance notices in and predicting any disaster. So that is the biggest application for 5G. The next is we can monitor any place of the world from anywhere. Gone are the days where you have to worry about your locked house, whether the burglar will come and do the burglary or not. Your home security system, you can monitor across the globe. Even today it is possible. But that is, I would say, one-way communication. With the home monitoring system, your security system, moment some notice a movement is detected, or moment a light is switched on, or anything happens, all the interconnected devices will give you an alert in such a fashion that you know there is something amiss at my house. So this is one example. Okay. The monitoring of the appliances, the various sensors, the various, I would say, temperature control devices, your heaters, everything can be done now remotely. When you are sitting at home, tired of the day's work, you want to have a cool environment at home. So will you keep the AC on since morning? No. You can switch on the AC remotely moment you leave your office. And that will be possible because of this 5G. Okay. It could be possible to visualize lively or all planets and universe. That is the virtual reality. One can complete his work by this is a virtual office. I think we all have used this work from home concept, or even online classes. The students may be fed up, but the syllabuses have been covered. Some people may like it, some people may not like it. Okay. But having 5G, you will have a better user experience. You will have a better understanding a virtual classroom where you can see everybody's face. You will be able to monitor it. One can use the GPS for online tracking of your loved ones they need not carry the mobile phones. There will be RF tags which you can keep on monitoring their location every second by second. Fine. So these are the few applications. If I really have to start reading from the application list, then we can start saying that the autonomous driving is the one where the driverless cars is going to be a reality. Your mission critical applications where a critical patient's vitals are to be monitored and an alarm to be generated when a particular vital crosses a particular threshold will be available. Then your entertainment and multimedia. That means everything will be able to see on your mobile with high quality. That is a advantage. Like World Cup is going on, you don't have to be sitting in next to the TV. You can watch the game live while sitting in the car. That is the advantage. Then your HD TV on mobile I just covered. Then your farming, smart farming, like depending upon the climatic conditions, one can have a smart farming. How much water is required, how much fertilizer is required. One can monitor the biggest, I would say, application is going to be in logistics and shipping. With your RFIDs on each and every items, you can program the delivery, you can see the stock levels in advance and do the positioning. So I would say the sky is the limit. Okay, the 5G is going to make is the most sophisticated. In the end, I would like to summarize that applications are n number of applications. You think of the application, it is possible. It is possible because of the high speed connectivity. So 5G is the most sophisticated technology developed so far and which is going to revolutionize the entire area of our operation. So that is the bottom line. That's it.
Okay, Saif.
Yes. No, I have one question to Ravindra sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is Indian scenario with reference to 5G? What is your comment on that?
Yeah, good. I think having seen the applications, all must be eager to know when are we going to get this. So this
Right.
is a natural fallout of whatever I said so far. So the point is that Indian scenario is very, very, I would say, encouraging. We have already have a biggest obstacle of spectrum auction, which has gone successfully. People have done their bidding, government has got its kitty full, and now the role is of the operators. And operators are now giving various deadlines and various, I would say, so these are the applications that we have seen. I will not repeat them again. But coming to the question of Sai, so this is what the current scenario, I would say, is in the Indian market. Like today, we all have, whether you like it or not, everybody has got a 4G LTE SIM, almost everyone, including your washerman to your maid, everybody has got a smartphone. They all have using 4G LTE option. Okay. So from there, we will be having two options. Either we go for non-standalone mode of the 5G or we go for standalone option of the 5G. So some operators, without naming them, I would say that have opted for non-standalone. What does it mean? It means that their existing infrastructure for the 4G LTE will get integrated with the 5G network. Okay, and this is going to ensure compatibility between the new generation network and the 4G existing network. And the other one is standalone, where we have a full new setup of the equipment. So Reliance is basically going RGO, I would say, is going for the standalone mode, whereas Airtel has opted for non-standalone. That doesn't mean they will not switch over to standalone or non-standalone, but the existing, as I told you, the difference between 5G and 4G is your capacity, your speed, your reliability, your and the latency. So the
Right.
technology is superior. So the existing network is going to be used. So in India in context, we have the three operators, Vodafone Idea, Airtel, and Reliance Jio, and to some extent BSNL. Now the thing is, by end of next year, that is by December 23, we will have the complete commercial 5G network available to all the users. Today, pricing has not been done. Some people have got their beta version given to the users because our environment is not fully ready. The application, the list of applications which I read out requires not only the network ready, but your user and equipment also to be ready equally. And to that extent, I don't think we have the right environment as of today till every nook and corner of this country. But yes, we have taken the first step and we have selected a right path, and we have got no holes, no obstacles in between to reach our objective of full 5G coverage. Okay, so that's it as far as the current
Yes.
scenario is concerned.
Okay, great.
Okay, Ravi, I think it's an excellent sharing of information about what is 5G, how it is going to operate, the technology behind it, and also how it is going to be progressed in India in days to come. I think that is very self-explanatory kind of the flow in which the entire discussion has happened. So I think we can stop here now. I would this our webinar is available on YouTube as well as on our page on Tech Wisdom Facebook page. So whomsoever sees it in future also is always welcome to put her question on our web portal or on Facebook page. We'll be definitely happy to respond on that. And also the next webinar would be in January first week, would maybe in line with what we have learned here, the more advances or more on the application oriented on this. So let's end this session on this note. I thank Colonel Ravindra Bhate for sparing his time and sharing the wealth of the knowledge to our audiences. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.